Hey guys, good evening, and welcome to the second event of our Hacktoberfest campaign, Merge Matrix. I'm Pranjal Satpute and I'm honored to be the host for today's event. You guys must be wondering, why today's slide is so lusciously green? Well, Hacktoberfest is celebrating their 10th anniversary, where if you make more than 3 pulls requests from repository containing Hacktoberfest tag, they will be planting a tree. We have an exciting and jam packed session ahead. But before we start with the events, let's take a quick look at today's agenda. Firstly, we are going to see the difference between Git and GitHub. Then, we are going to install and set up Git with a practical demonstration by one of our speakers. After learning more about Git, we will have a quick fun activity. Next, we'll take a hands-on practical learning how to use Git within Visual Studio Code. Whether you are a novice or a seasoned programmer, our Git and GitHub sessions will be very helpful. Unlock the power of GitHub.dev. Have questions? Our speakers will be here to answer them. A sneak peek into our next event before we conclude, and don't forget to fill in our check in form so that we will be able to track your participation. Now, let's not forget about our amazing community partners. We have Microsoft Learning Students Club and Google Developer Students Club from all these colleges, and also our sponsors. Next slide, please. Queen, Endless Domains, Swift Winter of Code, and Lumos Labs. Now, let's start this long awaited event. But before that, let's have a quick recap of our previous event. I'd like to call Apurva. Apurva, the stage is all yours.
Thank you, Pranjal. Now, for all new community partners and our family who has increased, all our audience, here it is what we have done in past introduction session of our Hacktoberfest. Now, Global Hacktoberfest, which is a month-long celebration for open source, which is hosted by a digital ocean. To register for that Global Hacktoberfest, you have to visit hacktoberfest.com. Registrations has to be done between 31st October. Now there is one rule for the Hacktoberfest, which is a global. You have to take 4 pull requests from GitHub, which have a Hacktoberfest tag on it, and which must have done before 31st October and after the registration to the Hacktoberfest. Now, for this is the interesting part of this year's Hacktoberfest. In reward, you're gonna get Hacktoberfest is gonna plant the tree on behalf of you by name of you. Isn't that great? Right, it's full nature and everything, yet digitalized. Also, Hacktoberfest will give you amazing rewards, which are digital swags. So that's about the global Hacktoberfest. Now let's understand what our Hacktoberfest is. Can we have a next slide, please? Okay. So our Hacktoberfest is the last date of registration is 10th October. So please mark your calendar. It's 10th October, which is 2 days apart from now. So register fast. What we are going to do? We are going to provide you swags, but based on the top performers who will give a max contribution. Now you might have a question that how we are going to track your contribution. Check-in form is in the description. Take a look at it. Before after the 2 hours of this session, the check-in form will go off. So you have to make sure that you fill the check-in form within the 2 hours of this session, and with help of your check-in forms and your GitHub maximum contribution will track your progress, which will be wrapped within 31st of October. So make sure you're giving your max contribution and you are earning beautiful swags from our swag partners. That's it from our side. Let's get into today's session, which is about Git and GitHub. Thank you.
Thank you, Apurva. I'd like to hand over the further flow to Swayam.
to our discussion on Git versus GitHub, two fundamental components of modern software development. In this segment, we will explore the unique roles each of these tools play in the development workflow. Git is a distributed version control system for tracking code changes locally. GitHub, on the other hand, is a cloud-based platform hosted on web. It is used collaborating on Git repositories. Moving on to the interdependability between Git and GitHub. Next slide, please. Git, as the core version control system, primarily operates locally on your computer. It enables you to monitor and track code changes, fostering efficient code management. However, GitHub steps in as the complementary cloud-based platform. It extends Git's capabilities by providing a user-friendly interface and collaboration tools that make the development process smoother. With GitHub, developers can seamlessly work together, manage projects effortlessly, and ensure version control and code integrity. In essence, Git and GitHub works together, combining local code management with online collaboration, resulting in a powerful combination that empowers developers to work efficiently and collaboratively across projects of all sizes. Moving on to the differences between Git and GitHub, Git operates locally while GitHub is hosted on the web, accessible from anywhere. Git is an open source project maintained by the Linux community, while GitHub is owned and operated by Microsoft. It is a cloud based platform that complements Git. Git operates entirely offline, allowing developers to work on code and track changes without an internet connection. GitHub requires an internet connection as it's a cloud-based service enabling real-time collaboration. And last, Git is available for local use, whereas GitHub offers a centralized cloud-based platform accessible worldwide. That concludes our discussion on Git and GitHub. Our next topic is going to be Git installation. I request you to open the internet browser and get Git installed with me. Let's start by typing download Git SCM in the search bar. Once the search result appears, click on the first link that is displayed. On the Git official website, you will be prompted to select your operating system from the options provided. Let's start the process once again. To get Git installed in your device, start by searching download Git SCM in the search bar. Once the search result appears, click on the first link that is displayed. On the Git official website, you will be prompted to select your operating system from the options provided. I will be clicking on Windows here as I am using Windows system. You can click on Windows, Mac or Linux based on your system. After selecting your operating system, locate and click on the click here to download button to initiate the Git process. The Git installation had started, and let's wait for a couple of seconds to get that finished up. Once the installation is finished, click on Run button and we will start with the setup process. When this box pops up, click on the Next button and choose your path for where you want the folders to be installed. I am going to choose the D drive. Click on Next. Here you can choose the or to display the icon on the desktop as per your preference. Let's click on Next and again Next. On this screen, uncheck the Let Git decide and check the second option, that is override the default branch name for new repositories. Click on Next. In this page, select the option Use Git and optional tools from the command prompt. These settings ensure that Git is configured according to your preferences. From here, it is all smooth sailing, and let's keep clicking on the next button till you reach the last slide. Leave all these options as default and keep clicking next. Finally, continue on clicking the install option and the installation process will start. Let's again wait a couple of seconds for this installation to finish up, and I hope that all those folks who did not have Git installed are following this tutorial. At this stage, the Git has successfully installed in our device. You can check the launch Git bash to launch the Git bash terminal. After successfully installing it, you will have Git bash at your disposal. But what is Git bash and why do we need it? Git bash is an essential component that provides a command line interface for Git on Windows operating system. It's essentially a terminal application that allows you to interact with Git using text-based commands just like you would in a Unix-like environment. Once Git is successfully installed, you set up on your device. The next step is to open Git bash. It's in Git bash that we will begin configuring Git. Configuring Git means we are telling Git in which account we are going to make changes. This means when we are going to use Git to make changes in GitHub, with which email ID do we want the changes to happen and what name we want to associate with that changes. To configure Git, we use our email ID and other details. Let's start by configuring the Git. To configure Git, follow these steps and write the command git config dash dash global user dot name. After the opening colon, write your name. Here use the username of your GitHub account. With git config, we are configuring Git, and in that, we are configuring at the global level. There are two types of configuration. global level and local level. Similarly, we are going to configure the email as well. Replace the name with the email, and here use the email ID which you have used to set up your GitHub account. At this stage, we have finished configuring the two main things, that are name and email. To see using git config command what configurations we have made, the command git config list is used. When you will type this command in the git bash and press enter, you can see all the changes that we have made. All the rest things are pre-filled, so you don't have to worry about that. But here you can see that we have configured the changes to git bash at the global level. This means the name is the name of your GitHub profile, and email is the account with which we are going to make the changes. This concludes our discussion on Git installation, and I now hand over the floor to Arya for the hands-on session on Git versus GitHub.
Thank you so much, Swam, for explaining the Git installation process. Now, guys, I hope that at this point you all are excited to learn more about the Git commands and what commands we use to interact with Git and as well as GitHub. So, I expect that everyone is performing the commands with me so that we can learn this in more efficient way. Okay, so if you all are with me, just drop a yes in the chat box. Okay, so I expect that everyone is excited and is with me and will be performing tasks. Yes, okay. Oh, good. Okay, cool. So, starting off, we'll first start by creating an empty folder in our file explorer. Now, yeah, choose any location you want. It doesn't matter, and just create a folder anywhere and name it of your choice. I'll just name it Git hands-on. Okay. After creating the folder, we'll be entering it, and okay. And after entering the folder, just right click, and here you will see open with code. If you don't see this option, then you can install VS Code from the link provided in the description. Now I know that you might have a question that why we aren't using Git Bash. Well, to explain in an efficient way, I mostly prefer VS Code so that you can get a better understanding of what changes we make in our code base and how are they committed and how are they saved. Okay, so oh, sorry, just a second. Yeah. So after opening the folder in VS Code, just click on just we'll start by adding a new file, say index.html. Now don't worry that what is this HTML file and what we have to write in this. I'm just creating it for an explanation purpose. Okay, I'll start by adding a default template of the HTML code. So now for just explanation sake, I'll add an heading tag. Hello world. Okay. Now to work with Git, we need to use the terminal which is inside pre-built in VS Code. So to open the terminal, click on the view section here, and on the second, it is the second last option in terminal. I can just click that, and here a terminal will be opened. I hope you all can see my screen. Yes. Okay. Cool. So, firstly, uh, whenever we create a folder, our machine does not know that do we have to track this folder, do we have to track any changes in this file, or what we have to do with it. So we first need to tell our machine or the Git installed locally on our system that we need to initialize this repository, and we have to track changes that we make in this folder, which is the Git hands-on. To do so, we'll be using a command called git init. Okay. So here you can see initialized an empty repository. Now, what this does is that it basically commands the Git on a system that okay, this user has to track changes in this folder Git hands-on. So this is the basic application of this Git init command. Now, to see the changes that we made in this folder, we'll be uh, we'll be running a command called git status. Here, after running this command, you can see all the changes in your folder that are made by you at a glance. Here you can see that we just added an index.html file which is shown as untracked, and it is correct. We first need to add this file to tracking. To do so, we'll run the command git add index.html and we hit enter. Now we run the git status command again. Before, as you can see here, it was showing as untracked file, which was index.html. Now we have added the file to added the file to staging area. So here it now says that the changes are need to be committed. Now, after running this git add index.html command, we basically have commanded git to add this index.html file to a staging area. Now, what is a staging area? Basically, in Git, whenever you need to save any changes of your code base, you need to first add that file or the multiple files to a staging area where they can be committed and saved to the local machine. Okay, so now we have made changes here. Now we'll save these changes. Suppose I want to save this state of my application on my local machine. So to do so, I'll run the command git commit -m, and here in double quotes you can write any message you want, like what feature have you added or what changes have you made. So basically that whenever you see code in your code in future or the history of the code in future, you will be able to identify the changes you made. So for now, I'll just write first commit and enter. Now, as you can see here, one file is changed and 11 insertions are made, which is correct. We have added one file in this repository and 11 lines of code is been added. Now that is now saved in our local machine. So this is how we basically save the changes on our local system. Now what is the use of it? Like suppose if you want if in some at some point of time, if your application breaks while coding or anything you changed by mistake and your application breaks, so you can revert back to the previous state where the application was running. So git is basically used to solve that problem. Now you can view the history of the changes you made using git log. Let's expand this. Yep. So here you can see that we have just made a commit known as first commit. And here in git log, you can see who has made the commit, like it's me. This is my username and my email ID. Also the exact date and time when I made the commit or when I saved the changes with the hash ID of the commit. Now this hash ID is important in future if you want to get back to the previous state of the application. Sounds cool? Okay. Yes. So great. I hope that everyone is with me at till this point of time. Is everyone with me? Okay, okay. Nice, nice. Great. Okay. So now I'll just make some more changes in file and make more commits so that we can understand it better. Also, just a second, guys. Yes. Okay. So now we'll understand. Now we know how the Git we can view the history of the Git. Okay. So I'll make some more commits and will show you how we can revert back to a previous commit. Okay. So I'll just add an index.js file. Just our simple program of hello world. This is the first line of program that we all write when starting with a programming, right? Yes. So I've added this console log. Then I'll make some more changes in my HTML file as well. Like I want to add a button and say it is login. Also, I want to change the title of my HTML page. So I'll write Git and GitHub. So here I made some changes. Now I'll commit those again. Just the exact same process that we followed previously. We'll write git add. Now, when I've previously told you about git add command, I told you that we have written the command with git add index.html. Now this only adds a particular file to a staging area. What if our application has bundle of files? We have more than 10 or 20 files in one project directory. We cannot just keep typing the names of individual files. We want to add all the files in the staging area. So it is possible by writing git add and dot. Now what this will do is that it will add all the files in the directory in the staging area. This saves time as well. Also, just to show you the git status, yes, you can see it has detected that I have modified index.html file and also I have added a new file index.js. Okay, so I will commit this, hit commit -m and I'll write added index.js. Okay, and I'll hit enter. Again, a commit is done. Also, just one more commit so that I can better explain you the rollback of the version. Okay. Now I'll just add one more button, simple, nothing else, a submit button. Okay. And I'll make a commit again. The basic steps: git add, and git commit -m and added submit button. Okay. Hit enter. Okay. So if I'm not wrong, I'll just create the terminal. If I'm not wrong, we have completed 3 commits till now. We'll check that by using git log. Yep. As you can see, there are 3 commits done. Okay. So now suppose that after making this latest commit, which is git add, we added a submit button. So suppose that we after committing this change, our application in the production breaks. Now we want to get back to the previous version. So how we can do? I just want to go back to the state where my application was running, which is this commit right over here. I can just do that by typing git reset, git reset dash dash hard. We'll perform a hard reset and we'll copy and paste the hash ID of the commit which we want to again apply on our current working directory. Suppose that I want to go back to this stage, this state of my application. I'll just select this hash ID of my commit, I'll actually copy it and paste it here. Okay, and you don't need to add the double quotes. So when we hit enter and I run the git log command again, here you can see that our add submit button commit is now removed from our working directory and our local history. We now have only 2 commits. Okay, is everyone enjoying this till now? Come on guys, show some enthusiasm in the chat. Yes, great. Okay. So let us move on to our next commands. Now these were pretty basic commands that you will be using whenever you are working with Git and GitHub. So we'll learn about one more command, which is a git stash command. Now at some point you make some changes in your application or the files in your directory. So what you want, you just want to save a copy of those changes on your local machine, but don't want to commit them. Now, saving and commit are the different things. Committing means you are permanently saving a copy or an image of your application to your local machine, and saving is just the data of the changes you made in your code. These are which are temporary changes which you might use later. So to do so, we use a git stash command. I'll explain you that what is this. So let's make some changes in JavaScript file. We'll write let num is equal to 20. And then we console log this. No. Okay. Also, by the way, JavaScript is my favorite language. I love JavaScript. Okay. So I made these changes. I've added some lines of code in JavaScript file. Now I want to just save this copy of my code in my local machine and don't want to commit it. So I can write git stash. Now what this does is that whatever changes I made currently before running this git stash command, it basically removes my recently changed lines of codes or added lines of code. It removes them and saves it on its end on our local machine. And our working environment is now clean again to write fresh code. Now this might seem very unnecessary, but as and when your application grows, there will be a bunch of line of codes and you won't be able to work if it is messed up or basically you won't like the environment. So basically git stash is used to clean your code base. It is basically used for that. Now everything which I added here is now removed. Now let's say I want to write again I love JavaScript. Okay, let's load that again. And now I added some lines of codes, and now I want to get back this recently made changes which I made, and I want to merge them with this code base. So I can do that Sorry, I can do that by writing the command git stash and then apply. Okay. Before running this command, I need to save these changes which I recently made here. Like I added this console log line here. I have to basically first commit it. Then only I can use the git stash apply command. So I'll do git add dot again as we previously discussed, and git commit myself and change index.js. Simple commit message, nothing. Yes. Enter. And now we have committed the changes. Now if I try to run this git stash command, git stash apply. Yes. Now you can see here. Now you can see it is now showing that the stash changes which I recently saved in my local machine, and the current changes which I added just a few seconds ago. Now you can remove this. This is not needed. Okay. So as you can see, this the lines of code which I saved in the stash are now back with me. Okay. So this is what git stash mean. Okay. So now that we have learned that how the code is saved, and how to view the history of the project, and how to roll back to a previous state, now we'll move on to branches in git. Okay. So what are branches actually? So branches are basically a separate workspace where you add a new feature or fix any bug. Whenever you are contributing to any open source project, you need to create separate branch, because you cannot make changes directly onto the main branch. It could basically break your application. What happens if you add some feature and your application in the production breaks? That surely we don't anyone doesn't want to have that to happen. So basically, for to avoid that, we create separate branches and then we merge them into our main branch. Okay, to basically create a branch, we'll write git branch, and we'll name our branch, say new feature. Okay. This is now we need to check how many branches do we have in our working directory. We can check by just writing git branch, and here you can see there are two branches currently: a master branch, which is a default branch in any git repository, and a new feature branch which we created just now. Okay, sounds cool. Yes. Okay. Yes. So now to make changes in this new branch, which is new feature, we'll just switch to branch. Thank you, Nishlita. Thank you. Okay. So we'll basically write git checkout and the branch name with new feature. Okay, and we hit enter. Okay, so it says before switching to a new branch, we need to resolve all the errors in our code, and we need to make a commit. So let's just do that real quick. Okay, so there was some errors. I'll just quickly make a commit again. Git add dot, then git commit -m, then fixed minor bugs. Yes, enter. Yes, now our changes are committed. Now we'll switch our branch to the new feature which we created. Git checkout. Just git checkout new feature. Yes, now you can see switch to new branch, switch to branch new feature. Now we can change anything we want here, and we can commit just like we did on our master branch or main branch. Now I'll just add a new file here, say styles.css, and basically I want you to color my background color of my, I want to have my background color of my website to be a green. So I can write background color green. Okay, and a font size of say 50 pixels. Now these lines of code are just to explain you all what is version control system. You don't have to worry what this does basically or nothing else. We are just focusing on this terminal and our version control. Okay, sure. So now just like we committed our changes in our main branch, we'll do the same here. Git add dot, then git commit -m and changed color to green. Yes, this commit message explains half of the changes that you made. Like basically, if anyone needs to access your project, you they can just read the commit message and can understand. Okay, so Arya in this commit has changed the background color of the project to green. Cool. So we hit enter, and yeah, changes are made. Now I'll show you the git log again, so you can understand better. Okay, so now you can see this particular commit is now committed to the new feature branch, and this is helpful when you contribute to open source projects, and there you don't want to break other people's application by directly committing on the main branch. Basically that won't happen. So that for that you need to create a new branch and work separately on that on any feature you want. Okay, so this was completely regarding the Git. Now we'll move on to GitHub and how to push our code on GitHub. So I assume that everyone has an account on GitHub. Okay. So if not, you can just create it. Just a second. Just a minute, please. Yeah. Okay. So we'll go to GitHub, and here I hope my screen is visible to everyone. Yes, yes. Yes, yes. Okay. So we'll now move on working with GitHub. Okay. Now we'll create a new repository. Now I'll just name this GitHub demo. I just want to give this. Okay, it is already exists. Sorry for that. Git demo. Here you can choose to set a repository as public or private. It doesn't matter basically. So for now, I'll keep the repository public, and scrolling down, I'll create the repository. Okay, so the repository is created, and this basically tells us what are the initial steps to push our code here on GitHub. So I'll explain you along with it. So just when you create a new repository, yes, I hope that everyone is has completed the steps till here. Yes, yes. Okay. Yes, so once we have created an empty repository on the GitHub, we'll just copy this link, the copy, and I'll go to my VS Code, and here I need to tell my Git on my local machine that I need to push everything that I commit here to my GitHub repository. Now, first I need to tell Git on my local machine that which repository I want to push the code to. So I can do that by writing the command git remote add origin and the link that we copied. Now this basically tells the Git that okay, I want to push each and every changes and each and every commit I made in this repository to this GitHub repo which I just created. Okay, and when I hit enter, it has successfully added this repository to its memory. And now we'll just push by writing the command. Wait, first we want to push the code on our main branch. So uh, if you don't know, we recently switched to another branch which is new features. Okay, so we are currently in this branch, the new feature branch. We want to switch to master branch. To switch branches, we use the git checkout command and the branch name we want to switch to. Okay, and enter. Now we are switched to main branch. Now we want to push everything, push every line of code that we have written and commit it to the main branch to our GitHub account. To do so, we'll write git push -u origin main. Now, git push basically tells the git to push everything our code to the origin which we added here. This is the origin now. The git now refers this link as an origin and the branch which we want to commit to. Okay. Okay, sorry. We don't have a master branch. We don't have a main branch. We have master branch. So we need to write uh, git push origin master. Okay. We hit enter. Okay. Everything in our code base is now pushed to GitHub. Let us check. Yes. So successfully we have pushed our code to our GitHub repository. Anyone reached to this stage? Is everyone enjoying this? Yes, yes. Okay, great, great. Hello, hello. Yes. Okay. I can see some enthusiastic peeps in the chat. Yes, yes, the video will be available. Okay. So, moving on this GitHub, you can see these commits which we made in our VS Code. And after seeing this, you can see this was our first commit. Here we added the index.js file and we changed some codes in that file. So suppose I want to check this commit. Okay. If when I click on a particular commit, it shows that which line I deleted and which lines of code I added onto that file. Okay. So this basically shows all the commits which we made. And here, this is the master branch. Now, by default, any application on GitHub, you can see any application. We suppose I'll show you an application, and you will get a clear idea that why we need to create separate branches. Okay, so I'll pick up any random application or any repository. Let's say React Bootstrap. So here you can see that the master branch is default branch, and anyone who contributes to this project, they create new branches, adding any new feature or any bug fixing. Everyone create their separate branches, and after making changes in their branch on their local machine, they basically raise a pull request onto this React Bootstrap repository. And you can see here are the contributors of this repository, and everyone make the changes on their local machine and then push on this repository directly. So nothing is committed and pushed on directly the master branch. We need to create separate branches. Okay. Yes, 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 sure. Okay. So now we are here. We have done with basically each and every command that we use on our Git and GitHub working. Now there's one more thing remaining. Now suppose you want to there is some folder in my application named as components, say. Okay, and this component basically contains navbar.html. Okay, and some more files, say app.js. This folder contains some file, but by default I don't want to track this folder. So how can I do this? Now you can say that just uh, put git add command and add the separate file names you want to track, and don't add this component folder. But no, as you can see uh, in this git status, you can see that my components folder is visible. Okay, yes, my components folder is visible here. Now I want to completely ignore this. I don't want this in my site. So what I can do is just add a git ignore file, and here, and I'll yeah, add the folder called components. Folder components. Okay. Now I'll run the git status command again, and now you can see previously components folder was visible and git can see it, but now after adding the components folder name in our git ignore file, git cannot see that folder. It is just seeing the git ignore file. And also if I want to sorry, also if I want to add some more files, I can do that by just adding the file name. Suppose I want to ignore index.html file, I can do that as well. And anything you want, you don't want to track, you can add those file names here, and they won't be seen by git on our local machine, and they won't be pushed as well. Okay. So these were the pretty much commands, all the commands that you will be using in working with Git, and I hope that everyone has enjoyed the session, enjoyed this part, and everyone has understood this all the awesome commands that we use while working with Git. Okay. So how's the Josh, everyone? Yes, for sure. Yes. Hi. Great, great. We have a lovely audience. We have a lovely audience. Yes, yes. Okay. So I hope that you have understood all the commands, and thank you for staying with me. And now I'll hand over the further flow to Siddhi and Tanvi for the fun activity, for the fun game. Thank you all. Bye bye.
So thank you, Arya. We'll start our fun activity within 2 minutes, guys. तब तक रिलैक्स कर लो थोड़ा सा. So, hello and welcome to our Slido adventure. Myself, Siddhi.
And myself Tanvi. Hey there, curious minds. Welcome to our interactive Slido.
We are thrilled to have you on this knowledge filled journey. Let's dive right in and have a blast today.
Yes. To kick off this adventure, here is how you can join the fun. Just open up Slido on your device. That's where the magic happens. Just go on Google and search Slido and you will get the first link. Just enter that link and then enter the event code displayed right in front of you, which is 3400372.
Or else you can scan the QR code on the screen and you are in.
Yes. Join in fast, guys. We are waiting for you.
Yes. Join
Okay,
in,
guys,
guys.
join
We are
fast.
waiting.
Okay, let's wait for some more time.
We are excited to
Yes.
join in fast, guys.
Fast, guys. We are waiting for you. Okay, guys, what do you think? How is the event going?
I think
There
our
is many
speaker
more to come.
explained well.
Yes. Okay, you just go on Google and type Slido and you will get the first link and just enter the code and you are in. Are you ready, guys?
You can scan the QR code also. If you are on one device, you can on the floating window and you can join.
You ready, guys? Should we start?
Okay, so most of the people have joined the Slido. So
Yes.
let's start the let's start from the first question. So the first question is, what colleges are you enrolled in? So Tanvi, what do you think, from which college we have the most of the crowd is with us today?
Mm, can't say. Let's see which college is more enthusiastic about contributing in Hacktoberfest.
I think it's GSCOE.
I think it's KK Wag.
Okay, let's see.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
so we
There
have
is a
our
competition
answers,
between KK
and
Wag and GSCI.
yes, 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 yes.
Okay. So
Mm,
KK Wag
more
is
people is some more
50%.
people is waiting.
Noise.
Okay, so the percentage for KKWAG is 50% and the percentage for GSCOE is 23%. So KKWAG is on the lead.
Yes.
Okay, and the other colleges like MATE is on 14%, GCO ERC is on 5%. Come on, peoples. MVP KBTCO is on 0. Okay, so we have our answer. So the most of crowd we have with us today is from KKWAG.
KK Wag.
Noise.
Noise. Noise. Okay. Let's move on to the next question. The next question is, how many contributions have you completed so far?
Mm, Tanvi, what do you think? At which level our most of the crowd belongs?
Um, I think most of them belongs to intermediate level. Let's see if I'm correct or not.
Okay.
Okay, so I think I am going correct.
Yes, I'm also thinking the same.
It's okay, you have
Okay,
more
so
days to go. Don't worry.
2
You
or
can
less than 2
contribute
is
more.
on 74%. More than 4 is on 13%. 4 is on 9%. And 3 is on 4%. Okay. So the results are
Yes.
here and they belongs to the intermediate level. So Sai,
Yes.
I think you're right.
Okay, let's
Okay.
celebrate the amazing contributions you have made during your Hacktoberfest.
Yes. Let's move on to
Yes.
the next question.
Yes.
So the next question is, should we organize the meeting to solve your doubts?
What do you think, Siddhi? They need a meet?
I don't think so because our speakers explained them well. Let's see.
Yes.
Okay. So
Okay.
for yes, it's 92%, and for no, it's 7%. Okay,
Okay.
okay.
No worry,
It's
guys.
fluctuating.
We will arrange a doubt session for you.
Okay, we have to arrange the doubt session for you. It's on 9:30 p.m. today onwards. So thanks
Yes.
for being part of this incredible survey. Your participation adds a whole new level of excitement. Thanks for joining.
Thank you, guys. I would like to hand over the further flow to Maitri. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
So, hello guys. Thank you, Tanvi. Thank you, Siddhi. So, what if I say कि you don't need to write any commands to use Git in VS Code or to push your code from VS Code to GitHub? Sounds cool, right? So, let's quickly jump into the VS Code screen and see how it's done. Let's get started. So now I have created a simple demo folder, demo.git, and a simple HTML file, example.html. So what you have to do is just click on this icon, source control icon, and initialize the repository. Yes, it's done. Now after initializing, you can see here the branch is named main. So if you guys want to change the name, just open your command palette, shift command P, and type rename branch. Yeah, it's here. And whatever name you want to give to the branch, I will say it as new and enter and see. Now the name is changed to new. But for our easy understanding, I'll keep it as main only. So again, name branch and main. So yes, it's done. Now you can see the branch name is again changed to main. Now let's quickly see. You guys can see that there is a U symbol, U letter in front of our file name. So this U represents that our file is created, but it is not tracked or it is not added to the repository. So to add it to the repository, we will just click on the plus sign beside it, and yes, it's done. We can now see the letter A is U is changed to A, so our file is now added to the repository. Now let's quickly see the further feature, that is committing. So what committing means? Committing means adding additional features about our created file. We can just do it by typing a message over here. I will type, for example, first commit. and submit it by this check mark. And yes, you can see it's submitted. Yes, it's done. Now, further, I hope you guys are following with me. Now, further, if we want to do any changes to the code, we have to create a new branch for it. So for creating the new branch, we again have to come to the command palette, that is shift command P, and write create branch. Just type in create branch and provide a name for the branch. So new feature, I will just example, so new feature. And yes, we have created new branch here. Now we can make any changes here if we want. So I will add a new line, and type 6. Yes, so we can see now, if you observe carefully, you can see here this area is called the gutter, and a green line here, this represents the added line to the code. Now if we make changes to any existing line, for example on the 6th line I just added two exclamation marks, so these are shown by this blue shaded line. Yes, it also differentiates between the changes we made, and that's an amazing feature. So again, VS Code also have an amazing feature, that is we can compare our original file and the newly added feature file. So for that, we just have to click here on our file name and see, it's done. This is our original file and this is the features we added to the file. We can merge these changes into one file by clicking the three dots here on the right side and choosing inline view. And now the changes are merged. We can stage all the changes. Now if you see here in the left side, these icons, so this icon is for discarding the changes we made to the file. The plus sign is used to stage all the changes, that is to add all the changes to our existing file. So I'll just click on this plus sign and stage all the changes. Yes, it's done. If we click on this minus sign, we will again go back to the changes. The changes are again separated, but I will stage them all. That means I will merge them all, and I will again add some commit. Let's say added features, and then check mark it, and it's done. Now if you observe here in the bottom left corner, we still see the name new feature, that is the new file name, but we need to change it to the original file, that is main. So we'll click on here new feature and select main. Yes, now this is how a file originally was. Now we will merge the branches, that is the main branch and the new features branch. And for merging those, we will click here on the three dots in the left upper corner. Go to the branch, then we will select merge branch. Then they will ask us from where we have to merge the branch. So new feature, as we created the file new feature, and see all the changes are merged in one branch. Now the last step, that we have to publish our branch to GitHub. So we'll click on publish branch, and now they will ask if we want to create a private repository or public. So guys, if you are doing for the first time, they will also ask for some authentication or for a sign up, but I have done this before, so I have to just select that which repository I want to create. So I will go with the public, and now it's publishing. So we will say open on GitHub, and now we can see the file is here. If we open it, we can see our code, which is successfully published on the GitHub. Isn't it easy? Yes, it is. So now let's quickly see how we can clone the file. For that, I will open the MLSC account. Yes. So from there, we will choose any code or any file any projects. For example, I will choose this e-library. So after coming here, we will click on this code, the green button, and then we will copy the URL from here. We'll get back to our Visual Studio Code, and we will again open the command palette. We will type in clone and we'll paste the URL we copied from the GitHub, and we will click enter. Now they will ask us where we want to save the file in our folder, in our system. So we will choose, or we will create a new folder for it. We will name it anything, for example, and we'll create it and click on select as repository destination. And yes, it's done. We will open it, and now we can see all this code here. If we open the HTML, we can see. So yes, it was easy. Cloning was also easy. So that's it from my side. I hope you all get it. Now I will like to handle the further flow to Swayam. Thank you.
Okay, moving on. In this segment, we will dive deeper into the GitHub web editor known as GitHub.dev. This is a really useful tool that a lot of developers either don't seem to know about or are not utilizing very well. So let's say what it has to offer. The GitHub editor lets you instantly open an GitHub repository directly in the browser to edit code. You can then perform other guides tasks with those changes, like creating a new branch, committing those changes, and opening a pull request, and so on. Let's talk about the advantages of using GitHub.dev for your coding tasks. GitHub.dev offers instant accessibility to your code. You can start coding or browsing without the need for local setup or repository cloning. It seamlessly integrates with GitHub's collaboration features, making it an excellent choice for real-time collaboration with team members. As GitHub.dev is a browser-based, so you can access it from any device with an internet connection, ensuring flexibility in your workflow. GitHub.dev is a powerful web-based coding environment that not only simplifies the process of accessing and editing code, but also offers an interface that's reminiscent of VS Code. Its advantages include instant accessibility, streamlined collaboration, and cross-platform flexibility. There are many really compelling reasons why you might want to use this tool, which we will discuss more later. But first, let's tap in and walk through an example use case. So here, I have a pretty standard GitHub repository open in the browser. Please let me know if the font is visible or should I zoom it. Okay, I will zoom this a little bit. Is this fine? Okay, so moving on. Let's say I don't have this repository cloned down to my local computer, yet maybe I just need to browse through a bunch of the files here to try and find the answer to a problem I am having in a different repository. These kinds of things happen all the time if you are working with many repos. Well, if we simply press shift and then the period key, or we can replace the .com present in the URL with .dev. After replacing the .com with .dev, the editor opens. If this editing environment looks very familiar, that's because it's basically just VS Code. If you are familiar with VS Code, that editor is actually built using web page technology and an Electron shell. So it runs really well natively in the browser like this. From here, you can do a lot of things we would normally do in a VS Code. I can expand this directory to browse through files and then open different files. All of them open with the code syntax highlighting and a proper formatting that you would expect. We also have tabs along the left to switch between different control panels, such as the source control panel that will track our changes. So here we are in an editor. Let's say a request comes in for a simple hotfix on this project. Something simple that we can feel confident about without cloning the entire repository down to our local computer. So let's say we want to make some changes in the file. I will add a simple command to a comment to demonstrate how it is done. Let's say this was the only change, and so now we want to commit those updates on a new Git branch and open up a pull request to send to another developer for further approval. To do this, let's move over to the source control tab, and there we can see our app settings change. Well, if we look at the bottom of the editor, we can see that we are currently still on the main branch. It's usually not a good idea to commit directly on main. Instead, we want to create a separate branch and then use a pull request to merge our changes in. Luckily for us, this editor can help us out with that. Along the top, here we have various options for working with Git, such as committing the changes, opening a pull request, and so on. To create a new branch, let's select branch and create new branch. This all can be done on the web browser without needing to clone the repository to your local device. After creating a branch main, let's put in a branch name. This can be anything. We will name it logging. Press enter and then choose to switch to that new branch. After this pop-up opens, click on the switch to branch. The editor will quickly reload for us, and now all of our changes. After the browser reloads, let's give it some time to reload. Here we have created a new branch, and as you can see, we have switched to the other branch logging, and all of our changes are still active in the control panel. This is where we want to commit our changes. So along the top, let's enter a commit message. I have added the commit message made changes to script.js and then go ahead and hit the commit button. Our active changes will disappear since they have been successfully committed to the new branch. The last step is to open up a pull request. We can do this using again clicking the ellipsis menu and this time choose pull request and then create pull request. A new panel will open to manage creating this for us. You can see this gives us the option to choose a source and a target branch as well as title and description. So let's choose merge changes from the logging branch as we created just now, and let's say put those in the main branch as a target. The editor will auto populate the title and commit notes, so you can leave the rest of this as is. Let's click on the create button. As you can see, the editor will create a pull request and display it a new panel here for us. There are again various options here to control merging and submitting those changes. At this point, let's switch back to the main GitHub repository, which we still have open in the other tab here. Let's quickly reload this. After submitting the change, making the pull request from the web from the github.dev, the owner of the repository will get your pull request, and then from there he can either approve or submit it for code changes back to you. So this was a really insightful session on github.dev, and this concludes our discussion on the topic. Now I would hand over the floor to Pranjal for the next Q&A session. Thank you.
Thank you, Swayam, for such an awesome explanation. I'm sure you guys have a lot of doubt in your mind. So let's move on to our Q&A session. I would like to request all of our speakers to join in and help with the queries. Guys, feel free to ask any doubts so that our speakers will be able to aid in your problem. Just type your doubts in the chat box. Okay, so here is our first question. What is the last date for your Hacktoberfest event?
Okay, so the last date for the Hacktoberfest registration for the event is 10th of October. So you have 2 days in your hand. You can register.
I hope that was helpful. Any more doubts, guys? Guys, type in your doubts fast. So I see a question here, how to become MLSC campus ambassador.
Okay, so Rishikesh, in order to become a MLSA campus ambassador, you will need to actively contribute in the developer community on GitHub, like explained in this session. So make as much valuable contributions you can, and then you can approach Microsoft for becoming the campus ambassador.
Thank you for giving us an idea. We will also make a detailed video about this same, that what approach you can have while applying for the Microsoft.
Okay, how many sessions? When is the next event? So excited. Same here.
Thank you for showing your excitement. Next session is very soon, so make sure you have subscribed the channel and you are the part of our WhatsApp community where we'll put all the upcoming notifications.
I see one more question here. Sai, why is check-in form important? Okay.
Okay, So as I mentioned earlier, check-in form is something that we can track for. Like whenever you are contributing to our Hacktoberfest, check-in form is the one of the part which we track for. So we can track your progress, and from that we can have a top performer of our Hacktoberfest.
I'm sure that was helpful. I see one more question here by Sukrut. When will the contribution start?
Sukrut, contribution is already started, so it's up till 31st of October. So make sure you have a good contribution going on your GitHub.
Right? Do you have any more questions? Guys, if you have any more doubts, please type in the chat box. There is a question. Which college students can participate? It is open for all or specific colleges only?
Okay, so this Hacktoberfest event is open to all colleges. Anyway, it does not depend on where you live or which college you belong to. There's nothing, no limitations for it. You can participate if you want. It's completely up to you. Yes.
Guys, if you have any more doubts, please type fast. Okay, so I guess there are no more questions coming in. So we'll move ahead. Okay, so moving ahead, stay tuned for our next event. It is going to be a blast with Poonam Kalamkar ma'am as our guest speaker. She will be sharing useful insights on career building, helping with resume building, problem solving, project building, and guiding us through the interview process. Worried some of your answers may went unanswered? Don't fret, cause we are planning to hold interactive meets every day starting today onwards at 9:30 to 10 p.m. Can we have the next slide, please? So today we have a doubt solving session. It is on 9:30 to 10. So if you guys have any questions or any doubts, just hop in into this meet. Can we have next slide? Okay, so before wrapping up this event, don't forget to fill in the check-in form which will be provided in the chat or video description down below so as to track your contribution. To connect with us, join all of our socials provided in the description itself. I thank you all for attending the event. Hope you all got to learn some interesting and useful stuff. We'll be back with more of this fun and informative post packed events and with enjoyable activities and hands on technical experience. Till then, thank you and over and out.